Hey, this is John Carlos, and I went to Corner Store Comics and got the Batman the Animated Series action figure of Batman by DC Collectibles. So I said this is from Batman the Animated Series, but really it's the design from the New Adventures of Batman. And right out of the package, I got a problem. His leg came off, like this little tiny leg joint that's supposed to hold this whole figure up, and you can see how like just itty bitty that little ankle joint is compared to the rest of the figure and how massive his like chest is. I'm really bummed out that this joint broke off right out of the box, but I'm going to try to glue it back on. Now, that problem aside, I like that his boots have their own swivel. Even not just the knee joint, there is like a boot cut, and I dig that. He's got like the forward and like sideways hinging legs. But they're really stiff, like they only really pop out in one area. It's kind of hard to get them to, like, you know, kind of go anywhere between here and here, so it's kind of annoying. He's got the mid-torso cut, the ball-hinged shoulders, the swivel ball-hinged elbow, and the little ball-hinged wrist. And I do like the hinge in the wrist quite a bit. Also, his head has a I think it's a ball joint, although, I mean, obviously he turns left and right, but there is a little bit of a tilt to it, barely. The overall sculpt and design of this figure is really cool. I absolutely love this. You know, the Batman the Animated Series and the New Adventures of Batman are my favorite interpretation of the character outside of the comics. And I just think the sculpt of his head, the sculpt of his chest, you know, the actual sculpt of the bat symbol, his belt, all of this just looks awesome. And the cape reads really, really well, too. Be on the lookout for some flared cape. The cape is made of like a soft kind of rubbery material, and there are some where it's like warped in the package and flared out. So be on the lookout for that. He comes with an alternate cape, so we're going to pop off his head and pop on the new cape, and then attempt to pop his head back on because it's a really tight joint. Wow, putting it on was a lot easier than taking it off. Now I like that the cape flares over the shoulders. It's a little more dramatic. It limits your range of motion for his arms, but I think it looks way cooler. The figure comes with some really cool accessories, including the Batarang and his grapple gun. And what's cool is that that little end that shoots off does detach. So I think that's pretty awesome. Also, he comes with some grip hands, including these like really tight little grip hands. And these are good for attaching the Batarang to, like so. He also comes with these sort of relaxed grip hands and these more like tighter grip hands where the fingers are more curved over. And he comes with one really cool alternate hand. They have a hand where the grapple gun is already sculpted in, so I think this is an awesome accessory to have. Lastly, he comes with a figure stand. And what's cool is the figure stand has the character turnarounds for him, so I like that the artwork is included on there. And you just plug in the pole here, and then at the top you just attach this little claw to it, and then you can attach the figure. Now I'm pretty happy with the figure that I got as far as the paint goes. The bat isn't fully painted on his chest there, and his mouth line kind of skews away from the mouth sculpt there on the side. You can see it starts to angle upward. But other than that, this one's pretty good. Like the belt is painted well, his little black shorts are painted well, there's no dirt to speak of on like his legs or his chest. I mention all this because I had to hunt a lot for a good figure. The paint jobs on this that DC Collectibles has done have been just shockingly bad. Like, it took me a while to find one. Not only did I see some where the cape was horribly warped, I saw some where the bat symbol bled down past the chest. I saw some where the paint was way above the sculpt line. It was just an overall mess. I saw some where the mouth line was above his mouth sculpt, that it looked like a mustache. I saw some where the black cowl line by his nose wasn't all the way painted. I saw some where the cowl line bled down onto his face. So if you're someone who cares as much about paint jobs on their action figures as I do, then I highly recommend you take your time inspecting the figure you're about to buy and try to compare it to some others. Not only look out for those issues that I pointed out, but just overall there are a lot where the body had just dirt and random black paint lines all over them. For some reason, DC Direct has gotten really sloppy with this figure. The sculpt is great, but the paint can be kind of a mess on some of them. I'm really lucky in that the one that I got here looks really good. And even though mine's got a busted leg, this figure stand is awesome. It's got like the little grip here slides up and down the pole, so you can adjust it to whatever figure you're gonna get, and that little arm really does hold it into place well. That if I just put the leg into its position, it looks good just standing there. I complain about the leg, I complain about the paint, but that's just stuff to be on the lookout for. I'm really happy with this figure. I think it looks great on the stand, it looks great on the shelf. Such a great sculpt. I like the pose that he's in, as far as just like that cape and the way it's kind of blowing to the side. I really dig this figure a lot. It's kind of like my dream figure, because Batman the Animated Series was like one of my favorite shows ever. And we had those old like Kenner figures, but I've always wanted like really quality DC Direct ones. And for the most part, I got that with this. Thanks for watching.